What made you, like, what gave you the strength to jump
Right.
into that?
Yeah. So I had one of those, those light bulbs that turn. Everyone has that story of that one specific uh, incident that triggered the switch. So I was in a corporate world. I worked at major corporations, including Amazon, and then in the defense side, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman. I even worked at a couple of startups. At some point when I was actually in the MBA program, there was a vice president in a company that I looked up to, right? Because he was Armenian, he was in the same industry, which we're a very small minority, right? Just
Yeah.
being Middle Eastern or anything in aerospace defense industries, you're a minority to begin with. So I always looked up to him because I figured, okay, he looks like me. He has the same background. He did the same technical education. He had the same technical education, and I looked up to him. And he climbed the corporate ladder, and he made it to the vice president, and he had a very high paying position. Um, but then I was in my second year of the MBA program, and one day he just got walked out. So this is a 50 plus year old person who put 30 years in that career, and overnight he was out of a job, right? So that was the turning point for me. And from that moment on, I knew I cannot let someone else be in charge of my career and my income and my family. And from that point on, I started looking for ways to switch and move out of a salaried position. And so that was my turning point, because I pictured myself being a 50-year-old working on my resume and going from interview to interview,
Yeah.
trying to find another high paying job, which is very difficult to do at an older age.
Yes, for sure.
So I rather have the struggles now than when I'm 50 and 60, because I can build a business and then enjoy my
Yeah, yeah.
later
If you
years.
didn't take the first step today,
Right.
God forbid you see yourself in the same position as your boss was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was middle management, but at some point I saw myself in his shoe, and I pictured myself 20 plus years later, and
Yeah.
I said, no, that's not what I want to do
Yeah.
with my life. So
And
so
thank
that
God
was
you
my
did that,
turn.
right?
Yes,
You
exactly.
found what your calling, you found
Right.
an industry you're really successful in that brings you joy, that you're really good at, and a place where you can help other people.
Right, and that's when your network and connections matter, right?
Yeah.
Because if I didn't know a single person in the industry, it would have been very difficult.
Yeah.
So I started calling up my connections, my various friends, other people in my sphere that had very different businesses, from insurance to real estate to lending and so on. I looked into probably 10 plus of different opportunities. But it's interesting. I went home and I told my wife, I don't care if I'm selling shoes. I can't work for someone else anymore. So that was the turning point. But luckily, one of my really close friends, who's actually my business partner, is my best friend now. He was in the industry for many years. So I called him up and we had a meeting, and literally over a piece of napkin we wrote an agreement,
Wow.
and I quit.
That's
And he
amazing.
could not believe it, because we really believe in the DISC assessment, uh, personality test. So engineers tend to be very high C
Yeah.
and very calculated, right? He said, I cannot believe you're just going to let it all go. I said, first of all, I can get all that back. I can go get another job if this thing doesn't work out, but I'm never going to give this a try. So I literally quit on the spot. I gave my 2 week notice and I jumped.
How many years ago was this?
That was 5 years ago.
5 years ago. Wow. So you are way ahead of a lot of people. So I was reading some news articles about the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, where a lot of people were quitting their jobs. And when they were being
Right.
interviewed, they said, I'm going to start my own thing. I'm going to work for myself, because whether it's because they weren't feeling respected at their job, whether
Right.
it was that they don't see growth. So you were way ahead. It didn't have to, you didn't have to be a pandemic for you to realize, to be
Absolutely.
enlightened.
Yeah, I think the pandemic gave a lot of employees the sense of freedom, working from home,
Yeah.
being in charge of their own schedule. I mean, it can go both ways. It's also a negative thing in a lot of aspects. But for those that were looking for that one opportunity to spend time on their idea or on their side business, I think they got the opportunity to do. And
Yeah.
I know a ton of people who that gave them the freedom to give it a try. They gave it a shot, and they're gonna make the switch. Yeah, unfortunately, everything in life is a risk, so you have to take a leap of faith.
Yeah,
sometimes.
nothing is guaranteed.
Nothing is guaranteed in life. You can walk out and get run over by a bus. So to sit there and analyze it and overthink it, it's just, you live the life once.
Yeah.
I mean, none of us know how much life we have left. So I figured if I don't do it in my 30s, I'll definitely not do it in my 40s. So that's why I made the switch.
Hey there, I hope you got value out of this video. And remember that our team at the Pocket Network is rooting for you. So you can't stop rooting for yourself, because change begins at home. In the meantime, like, subscribe, share, and as always, thanks for watching Mondays with Margs.